Okay, real quick, before I get into this one, I'd said last month I had 4 videos planned. This was originally going to be the fourth one, but I did not get the third one filmed in time before this one. So hopefully I'll have this one up this weekend, and I'll have the one that was originally going to be the third one uploaded next weekend. So, yeah, long story short, I meant to record the third one, just never got around to doing it, so. But yeah, I'm going to make this one short. This is my initial, I guess, reaction and thoughts following up to the first presidential debate. I'll probably change that title, but that's just how I'm going to say it for right now. So I'm going to keep this one short. So the first presidential debate between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden was the other night. And, yeah. Basically, the best way I can describe this debate was if my two grandfathers, one who's Latino and one was Caucasian, were arguing over the dinner table at, say, Thanksgiving, like just arguing politics or just arguing about their personal lives or just arguing in general, because Trump is 74, Biden I think is 76 or 77. So just seeing two old men just arguing for an hour and a half, it got old pretty fast. But here's the thing, I knew going in, neither were the best debaters, but I honestly thought, at the very least, it would have a little bit been better, because, I mean, they both had a long time to prepare for this debate. But, here's the thing. Going into this debate, Trump had the advantage because you typically presidential debates, there's 3 of them, and you have a conservative moderator, a more moderate moderator, and a more liberal-friendly moderator. And Chris Wallace from Fox News was basically the conservative moderator, so this debate was first. So I knew going in, Trump had to do well at this one, because the other 2, they're going to have probably moderators that aren't as friendly as to Trump. But also, basically, Trump's whole strategy, I guess if you want to call it, for the last few months, has been trying to continue to blame Obama and to an extent Biden for problems with his administration. But here's the thing, I knew going in this was a bad strategy that wasn't going to work, because, and the majority of people realize this, Obama's been out of office for over 3.5 years now. There's really nothing left at this point that can be blamed for Obama, or to a lesser degree Biden. So, Trump had somewhat of an advantage, but he also had that disadvantage going in. And that's kind of the case for a lot of presidents who are trying to go for their second term. If you have a lot of good accomplishments, it's a little bit easy, but at the same time, you have to deal with all the failures by this point because you've been in office for 3.5 years. And, so like I said, I knew going in, it was going to be an interesting debate. And also, one thing I want to talk about real quick, I didn't mention this last video, but I'll tie it back a little bit later, was even though I think Biden did better in this debate, we still have 2 more debates to get to, and while I think the debates can sway some people, I think at this point, a month before the election, like 85-90% of all people probably already know who they're going to vote for at this point, because like both Trump and Biden are so polarizing, there's really not that many people that are probably on the side at this point, so Biden's going to have a big lead over Trump come election night in order for it to not be contested. I'll get back to that in a little bit. So, let's talk about the debate itself. Well, first and foremost, Trump kept interrupting so much that both Biden and Wallace called him out repeatedly. Biden at one point told him to shut up, which admittedly got a little laugh out of me. But here's the thing. Biden kind of got some more difficult questions from Wallace, and Wallace tried to be as friendly as he could with Trump, but keep in mind, again, this was the conservative moderator debate. I'm pretty sure, seeing how all these interruptions were going on, they're probably going to have to change the rules a bit to where maybe they'll be able to cut off Trump's mic at the next 2 debates. And also, I also want to bring this up. Biden did sound a bit coherent, had a couple of misspeaks or mistakes a few times, where like he stuttered a bit, or like he was like, or my bad, or like I had to correct himself. So I did notice it a few times, but he still seemed confident overall, whereas Trump didn't really seem that confident, so that kind of, I think, helped Biden a little bit. But Trump lied a bit about coronavirus. I mean, he's been lying about coronavirus recently. Keep in mind, this, like, just last night, it was revealed about how Trump himself has tested positive for coronavirus. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see how the next 2 debates will go, if even at all, if Trump, Melania, and who knows how many other people on Trump's campaign team now have coronavirus. I mean, the vice presidential debate is supposed to be next week, but, I mean, will Trump be able to debate if he has coronavirus now? I don't know. And also, one moment that kind of stands out is that Trump tried attacking Biden for swine flu, But then Biden pointed out, okay, under Obama, we had about 13,000 deaths from swine flu. Under you, we've had over 206,000 deaths from coronavirus. So, not a good comparison. And that was one of, think, Biden's strongest points to bring up. Because, keep in mind, Obama left Trump like a pandemic response program planner, and Trump basically ignored it. And he's been ignoring doctors, he's been downplaying the virus, ignoring wearing masks. He only started recently wearing masks like within the last month, so yeah, not really a good thing to bring up. Let's see, what else? Trump's refusal to properly call out the alt-right group, like the Proud Boys, not only makes him look racist, but it's also going to impact other Republicans, particularly ones in the Senate, who have been enabling Trump for so long. And here's the thing, the Republican Party, in its own way, has always had racist dog whistles. But when your leader is not even doing the dog whistle, he's just saying the racist things directly through a bullhorn, for moderates who don't want to be seen as racist, they're not going to support politicians who support Trump 100% of the time. So it will be interesting to see how this affects the Senate, because there is a chance Democrats could get it back. I'm one of the few Democrats that, again, is split. I mean, they have to get at least 4, so I don't know if it's going to be possible, but I mean, there are a few Senate races that seem like it could be close, but that's not the topic of this video. So, talking about now the mail-in and absentee ballot fraud. Trump tried bringing up this point again. He's brought up a lot. Of course, I don't know if it was Biden or Walz, I can't remember which one, pointed out, Trump, you vote by mail, and your own voter fraud commission found only a handful of cases of voter fraud, and only 1 or 2 by Democrats. The majority of them were by Republicans. So, and also, now this wasn't brought up in the debate, but this is something I think I should be brought up. Studies have come out showing that now a lot of Republican voters are no longer voting by mail because Trump has talking about how bad voting by mail is by so much. Now his own voters don't want to vote by mail. Democrats are wise to this because they don't get their news solely from Trump and Fox News, but Republicans don't, so now they're thinking, oh, I shouldn't vote by mail because Trump says I shouldn't. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to think. Okay, quick criticism of Joe Biden. I am progressive in a lot of my beliefs. There are a few conservative or moderate beliefs I have, but maybe it's just because I've grown up in Texas my whole life. But I'd say I'm like 75-80% progressive Democrat. And I think it was a mistake for Joe Biden to basically say, I'm not supporting Medicare for All or the Green New Deal. Because I feel like a lot of progressive voters or like swing voters took a chance with Trump last time thinking, hey, he's not the establishment. Let's take a chance with him. Because Hillary Clinton was the most establishment candidate you could have ever had going up against Trump. So people took a chance with Trump. So people this time are like, I mean, Biden's still basically just Democratic establishment. Trump is still in a way, he's still the outsider, which technically is not true. He's been president for 4 years, and he's built his cabinet with nothing but Washington insiders and big bankers and stuff like that. So I'm worried that by basically trying not to at least sound like he's embracing some progressive policies, it's going to not get enough progressive voters to go out and independent voters to go for for Biden this time. Biden did have a couple of good lines I'll give him credit for. He called Trump Putin's puppy, which is another word for a female dog, which I'm not going to say. Also, I will say, I think probably my favorite moment of the entire debate, the hour and a half, was when Trump was calling out Hunter and Beau Biden, and Biden showed just how honorable and professional a politician he is. Even though Trump attacked his sons personally, Biden did not attack Trump's kids personally. Go rewatch that moment. It was, I think, like the last third of the debate. He basically, Trump called out, for the Ukraine deal with Hunter, and then, basically something with Beau in the military. And even though Biden could have attacked Don Jr. and Eric and Ivanka for their business ties, for their corruption, he didn't, because he knew this is a debate solely between him and Trump. He kept it professional. Full respect for that. And lastly, both of them did talk about the Supreme Court quite a bit. It was one of the first, I think it was the very first topic that came up. And here's the thing. Trump has already appointed over 200 judges to the Supreme Court, or not to the Supreme Court, but to all courts throughout the country, because there's 850 judges in courts around the country. And about 100 were supposed to be appointed by Obama, but Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans held them up for Obama's last year. That's how Merrick Garland wasn't put on the court, Neil Gorsuch was. And now the Republicans are being completely hypocritical for basically trying to push Amy Coney Barrett onto the court, even though it's less than 2 months till the election. And actually now at this point it's a month till the election, sorry. But of course Merrick Garland had almost a year. So, but again, Republican senators don't care, and Trump doesn't care about this hypocrisy. Maybe some Republican voters will care, but I mean, I will say this. As a Democrat, it kind of hurts me to say this. Democrat politicians don't fight hard enough for the courts. They focus on the Supreme Court so much, but they ignore all the lower courts. And they don't fight as hard as Republicans do for issues like this. So, the fact that Biden kind of made a few decent points, but he didn't really seem like he was fighting for the court as much as I would have liked, I think that was a bit of weakness on his part. So, overall, not necessarily the best presidential debate. I think Biden did win, but, and like I said, Trump only had like one or two things that I feel like were legitimate points he brought up, but really the debate was just annoying, unprofessional, and yeah, like I said at the beginning, I don't know how coronavirus is gonna, or how Trump now having coronavirus is gonna affect it. I hope he recovers. As much as I don't like Trump, I don't want him to get sick and die from coronavirus. But also, if he does get sick and die from coronavirus, what happens? Pence becomes president with less than a month till the election, and I guess it's him against Biden. So I have no idea how that would work, but I mean, I don't want that to go down. So yeah, so that's just my thoughts on the first presidential debate from the other night. So like I said, if you want to share what you think, please share in the comments below. Like this video if you can. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And hopefully I'll get back to you with that other video I meant to do last week. Hopefully next week. So that's all I gotta say. Have a good evening. Take care.